Water falls from the sky as rain or snow. It sits on the ground in puddles. We see it on grass early in the morning as dew. When you look at Earth from a satellite in space, you see that most of it is covered with water in the oceans. Look closer, and you will see big lakes and rivers. Over the land and over the oceans, we see clouds, and in many places that are cold, we see snow. The clouds and snow are made of water too, so water is everywhere. People use water to drink and stay clean. Plants use water to grow. Without water, we would not be able to live. Water is called a liquid because you can pour it and it will change shape. If you put it in a glass, it takes the same shape as the glass. If you pour it on the ground, it spreads out and becomes flat. Liquids can move and change shape. If you pour water into an ice tray and put it into a freezer, you can turn it into ice. When water turns into ice, we call it a solid. A solid is something that is hard and does not change shape. You can touch it and see it, but even if you put it into a glass, it still keeps the same shape. Put it on a counter, and it also stays the same. Of course, if you let it stay out long enough, it will melt and become water again. But what happens when you leave water out for a long time? It disappears. Where does it go? Into the air. Invisible water that floats in the air is called water vapor. We also call it moisture or humidity. You can't see water vapor, but sometimes you can feel it when the air is warm and sticky. Warm air can hold more water vapor than cold air. When the tiny droplets leave the water to float into the air, we call that evaporation. Once evaporation lets water vapor float in the air, the water is not a liquid anymore because you can't pour it. It's not a solid because you can't see it. Now it's called a gas. A gas is something that you can't see or touch, and it floats with air. Water is very special because it can be a solid like ice, a liquid like rain, or a gas like water vapor. Even in the driest parts of the world, there is water vapor. Wind spreads it around the planet. It's in the air, and you don't see it until it makes clouds. When you get enough water vapor together, it grows and forms clouds. Weather forecasters call this condensation. Condensation happens when invisible water in the air grows large enough for us to see. Put a cold glass on a table and watch it. You'll see water droplets grow on the outside of the glass. These water droplets came from water vapor in the air. This happens on clear, quiet mornings when you see dew on the grass. When the dew forms, use a thermometer to read the temperature, then you know what the dew point temperature is. The dew point temperature just tells you how cold the air has to be for condensation to make dew. When the air is very cold, instead of seeing dew, you might see frost. In the morning, you can tell dew apart from rain because rain makes everything wet. Dew will only wet cars, rooftops, grass, and a few other things. Dew comes from moisture in the air. Rain comes from clouds. Clouds make rain, snow, sleet, or hail. All of these are called precipitation. Precipitation is any kind of water that falls from the clouds. In the winter, cold clouds make snow and sleet. In the summer, clouds make rain because the air is warm. But if the cloud is very tall, it might reach high enough into the sky where the temperature is cold and then make hail. Hail is small pieces of ice that fall from tall thunderclouds. Precipitation, evaporation, and condensation are always happening over and over. These three things never stop, so we call it the water cycle. The water cycle has no beginning and no end. Precipitation falls to the ground and makes puddles. Some of the water goes into streams and rivers and then to the oceans. The sun heats the earth to make evaporation happen. That's when water turns into invisible water vapor. Wind pushes the water vapor around as condensation turns it back into clouds. When the clouds get too full, the precipitation starts all over again. The water cycle makes sure that there is always water moving around the world. Even when we can't see water, and even when it is frozen into snow or ice, the water cycle takes moisture everywhere. The part of the water cycle that we always see is the beautiful clouds. They float above our heads in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Sometimes they are so gentle that we really don't notice them. But other times they grow so large that you just can't miss them. There are 4 kinds of clouds: cirrus, stratus, cumulus, and cumulonimbus. Cirrus clouds are very high, thin clouds. They are so thin that you can see the sun or moon right through them. They can be more than 5 miles or 8 kilometers above the ground. That's higher than where most airplanes fly. Cirrus clouds are gentle, soft, and feathery. They are not thick enough to make precipitation, so when you see them, you know that the weather is calm. Stratus clouds are lower clouds that are flat, stretched out, and gray. They can cover the whole sky and hide the sun. Stratus clouds can make rain or snow. Sometimes they stay for more than a day. If they stay for a long time, you might get a lot of rain or a lot of snow. They might also make very light rain called drizzle. In the winter, stratus clouds can make light snow called flurries. When they block the sun, stratus clouds keep you from getting warm. A special type of stratus cloud is fog. Fog is a cloud that is close to the ground. If you ever want to know what a cloud feels like, just go outside on a foggy day. You can't feel the cloud, but you will feel the moisture. It will make the air damp. Sometimes fog is only a few feet or a few meters thick. Other times it can be thousands of feet or thousands of meters thick and cause problems because drivers can't see very well and airplanes can't take off or land. Fog happens a lot in some places where you have water. Cumulus clouds are fluffy and puffy, and they grow tall. They look like cotton balls as they bubble up into the air. Small cumulus clouds with lots of space in between them tell us the weather will be nice. The larger and taller cumulus clouds make rain showers or snow showers if it is cold enough. The showers usually don't last very long. When cumulus clouds make lightning, thunder, and heavy rain, they are called cumulonimbus. The cumulonimbus is the tallest cloud. Sometimes it can reach more than 10 miles or 16 kilometers high. It's the cloud that makes thunderstorms. When you see a cumulonimbus cloud, you have to make sure that you are safe from lightning and from the heavy rain. Cumulonimbus clouds can make a lot of rain in one spot to start a flood. Floods are dangerous to people. Floods also wash away soil, and we call that erosion. You can do an experiment using sponges and a spray bottle to show that when the rain falls slowly, the ground is able to soak it up. But when it falls too fast, the ground can't hold all of it and it rises to make a flood. Always stay away from floodwater. Clouds are a part of the water cycle. They help the earth by moving water around. When clouds get thick, they block the sun and keep us cool in the daytime. At night, thick clouds act like a blanket over the earth and keep us warm. Clouds come from condensation. You can make your own cloud in a jar.
See anything yet?
Yeah, I see
Just fill
clouds.
the jar with warm water, cover it with plastic, and then put an ice cube on top of the plastic. Look closely inside the jar, and after a while, you'll see condensation making a cloud. Many of us make clouds and don't even notice it. The next time you take a shower, look around the bathroom to see what is floating in the air. When you get out of the shower, look at the mirror. What do you see? One of the trickiest parts of forecasting the weather is knowing when a cloud will start to make rain. You can practice with your friends by using a cotton ball, water, and an eyedropper. Count how many water drops the cotton ball can hold before the water starts falling out. Then try it again with another cotton ball. Do you get the same number? Probably not, because no two clouds are the same. The nice thing about clouds and the water cycle is that when you add sunlight to them, you see many pretty shapes and colors. Cumulus clouds are bright and crisp when they are away from you. But when they are over you, they look dark because the cloud blocks the sunlight. When rain ends in the afternoon and the sun comes out, you might see a rainbow. Look for a curve of colors in the sky. The rainbow tells you that the rain is over. Cirrus clouds also make something that looks like a rainbow. It's a ring around the sun called a halo. Most people don't notice them because they don't take the time to stop and look up into the sky. Sometimes on the sides of the halo, you'll see two bright spots that have a lot of color. These are called sundogs. At sunset, all of the different clouds help to show magnificent colors. We can see red, orange, yellow, purple, and sometimes other colors. Without clouds and the water cycle, we would have a pretty boring sky. The clouds are nature's way of giving us art. Enjoy the water cycle and stay weather smart. Now that you are clear on clouds, let's take a quiz. True or false? Number 1. Cumulus clouds are puffy clouds that look like cotton. Number 2. Sometimes the water cycle stops. Number 3. Invisible water in the air is called water vapor. Number 4. Fog is a cloud that's near the ground. Number 5. Clouds are bad for the earth. Number 6. Too much rain can make floods. Number 7. Evaporation is when water disappears into the air. Number 8. Rain and snow are precipitation. Number 9. Cirrus clouds make thunderstorms. And number 10. When you see water on the outside of a glass, that's condensation.